Hey everyone, welcome to Inside the AI. I'm your host, the Data Doc, and today we're going to be creating two systems inside of N8N. The first system we're going to create is a system to create a quadrant vector data store, which is essentially a RAG. And then we're going to have a second step, which we will be able to chat and ask any questions of the information we've just put into that data store. The AI that we create is only going to be able to call that specific data store, and it's not going to be able to ask any other data sources for any information. So if you find value in this video, give me a like, subscribe. We go through these every week. I create a different RAG, a different system. I have a video listed above that's on Pinecone system. Today, we're going to be focusing on Qdrant. So to start this one out, the first thing we need to do is I want to show you this works. I'm going to test this workflow out. And what's going to happen is we're going to upload what's inside this folder right here, N8N videos. So we're going to take this document. We're going to open it up really quick so you can see what it is. It's an article from a college on the lumbar system. Doesn't really have much context for anything, but I just wanted to use something different. And it's over 11 pages, and we're going to condense this into a RAG database. So let's test the workflow out. And what we have here is Google is downloading the file. It's getting sent to our Telegram, and this is a human in the loop. So what we can do is we receive a message from Telegram to either approve or deny this going into the vector data store. All right, so now we're going to switch over to the Telegram, and we've received a message. I've done this a couple of times to test it out so that when we have this, it goes a little more steady. All we have to do is we have this come in, we click approve, we can open it so we can review what it's saying. It says has it, we can close this back out. And now what's going to happen is when we go back to our RAG system, that message is starting to go again. Now the information has gone through. So now we have our information loaded into the vector data store. We've used a workflow at the bottom to import all of that data from our Google Drive. So we've made a quadrant vector store. And now we're going to test out this. We're going to have this AI prompted to call the vector store for any information on the document we've submitted. It's only going to be allowed to call this document if it needs something. If it doesn't know the answer, then what it will do is return, I don't know. So I've tested this out here to make sure it worked before the video, but we're going to test it out with some other information. So I don't know much about this information. So I'm going to put what is an ABC, and it should come back and say, I don't know, there's no information. And it says, I can't find this information. It's not available in the resource. So it's only calling, this proves it's only calling our vector store. More importantly, is it's sent to our Telegram. So we can link this to our Telegram and message questions to it. And it sends me a message with the answers provided. The last thing we can do is we can verify what it's saying. So not verify, but we can test it with something that's actually works. And we're going to ask, what is a LIF? And this has to do with the hips. I don't know much about it, but it should give us an answer because it's only calling that vector store. All right, so now we have what an LIF is. It's a lumbar inner body fusion. Never heard of it. And it gives you some information here, but more importantly, it sends it to your Telegram, and you have that as a message you can call. So if you found this video useful, creating a RAG system through the Qdrant vector store, give this video a like, subscribe to this channel. I'm going to provide many methods of how to create a RAG system where you can upload your personal information, your company information, and have a central database and control, limited control of what the AI is calling information from. So I'm the Data Doc. Thanks for watching. Continue watching this video for a step-by-step guide of completing this system. So now I've entered my N8N work environment. The first thing I always want to do is change the title of the workflow. This is going to be an AI powered RAG with Qdrant. And so now that we have this title made, the first thing we always have to do is give it a trigger. We're going to go through step by step and create this workflow. So we're going to give it a manual trigger, and this is going to be creating the RAG environment. So this is going to create the vector store, and we're going to walk through step by step. So the first thing we need to do to add to this is hit the plus and create it's an edit node, edit fields node. And we need to manually map this. Okay. And so what we're going to do is we're going to drag in our Google Drive. So we need to put our folder ID as the name. So what this is going to do is the folder ID for our Google Drive is going to be pulled into this system. So the first thing you need to do is add in the folder ID. It's written here, and this is going to match it. It's going to match the folder ID to the actual folder. And so this is my folder that we're mapping it to. Where you get this from, it's really easy. If you go to the folder and you're inside of the folder, so I'm inside my Google Drive, inside my drive, and now I'm inside the folder that I want to work in. You could have hundreds of documents here. What you want to do is go to the last / and take all of that and copy it. And then you can go back to your system and you can paste it in right here. So that's where I got that from. So now what I want to do is pull in some information. I'm going to test this and make sure it connects. And now we have that one document coming in. This is going to connect to a Drive document. And this Drive, Google Drive, is going to be the Google Drive. And we're going to click search a folder. Okay, so the first thing we need to do after we have the edit field is add a Google Drive field, a Google Drive node. We click this and we want to go down to search a file. It should be right in the middle. And with that connected, we have our Google Drive already connected. Everything is going to stay the same. The first change that we are going to do is right here at the filters. We're going to add a filter, and it's going to be from a drive. So now you have a My Drive, and now we have to add another filter. And now we have to filter by folder. So now it's telling it where to go to. And now we're going to tell it to grab that JSON from before. All right, so we got to switch this to by ID and then the ID JSON folder from right here. So this edits field and drag that in. We're going to test this to make sure it goes through. And we've encountered our first issue. This needs to be an expression. So now that we have this fixed, we can test this step out. And now that information has gone through and we've downloaded from our Google Drive. So now we have a few things that we need to add to this. We're going to add an edit field again, and this is going to allow us to collect the names of the information. So that it can go into the vector store properly. So we need to name our folders that are going into the Qdrant collection. So now we're copying and pasting this in. Again, you do not need to copy and paste anything. Just go to the school community and download this JSON. But what we've done here is we've collected the information. It's coming in and we're naming it to the Qdrant vector store. So once we've done that, we need to go here, click this plus, and we're going to go to summary. So now what we're going to do is we're going to open this up and change this aggregation to append, and we're going to append it by the ID. So what we have to do is type ID here, and this field is complete. And so now we should have, let me break this. And so now we need to have two of them. So now it's set up like this. And now, so what we've done is we have this information, it's come through, we've named it the right way, and we've summarized it so that it can go into the quadrant as one system. But now we have two data sources. So this is one data source coming here. We have to combine them in some way. So let's do the combined. Excuse me, let's do the merge. And what the merge is going to allow us to do is take those two data sources, put them as one, and combine them into one. So we switch the first one from append to combined. We want to make it position, and then we have two, and we're good to go. So now this goes here, and we have to connect this, and that's how it's set up. So that's our first process within this system. So now we have this completed. We have the information coming in from our Google Drive. It goes in, and those folders are labeled and summarized and merged together. The next thing we need to do is add the human in the loop so that we can confirm we want that information to go in. So we're going to do Telegram, but this could be any system to check. You could do it through email. You can do it through many different ways. So send a text message. And so now what we'll do is we have our account already connected. We need to send a message and put your chat ID. So the way you get your chat ID, I'll link a video in the description below. All you have to do is follow that video and ask the raw data bot, and it'll tell you your information. Should be good to go. So I'm going to go through this relatively quickly. So then we need to, once we have the approval, all right, so I stand corrected. We don't want to send a message. We want to send and wait for a response. From this, we're going to copy and paste this in. Again, I don't want you to copy and paste anything. Just go to my school community and you can download the JSON for this. But I'm doing this so that I can show you where we run into some errors. It does have to be expression. And when you run into errors, then you can fix them, because I did run into errors creating this. So I think it will be helpful for you. So watch this video. So once we have that copied and pasted in, we have approval response. We want to type here, approve and disapprove. So now you have both of those options. And then we have the time interval of 15 minutes. You can do 10 minutes. And once it passes 10 minutes, it doesn't work anymore. So now I've tested this, and I tested it because I didn't want you to see my code. I'm going to move it down here only because the way it's structured, we want to keep all of our data to the right, and then we'll have the vector store to the left. All right. So what I want to do is, once this is processing, I go back to my account. I approve it so that data keeps going through. So now the data has been sent. That's the main reason why I want to approve it. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do if. So the reason we want to have this if is because we are setting a condition so that if the data is approved, it can be routed one way. If it's not approved, it gets routed a different way. And then it sends you a message letting you know that it was approved. So we want to go down here, select Boolean, and is true. And once this is done, we just press test step, and it should send that information out, and it sure did. So now what we'll do is on the if statement, we want to add in here the ability to send a Telegram message again. And this is for the denied. All right, so send a message. And then once we open that up, we have the Telegram account already made. Send a message. You're going to want to put your chat ID. And then you want to just put this message here saying a quadrant message was denied. And it kind of just lets you know that something has happened. And if you weren't the one approving that, then you can solve that issue and resolve any security concerns you may have. So now we have this made. And so the next thing we want to do is we need to do a merger up here. So we're going to add this, and then we're going to add a merge field. And this merge field is going to append to. And what we're going to want to do is move it way up here. Because what we're going to do is we're going to take this here and we're going to put it straight to it. And then what we want to do is delete this one so that this one goes to the second input. So now it has two inputs coming in. And the reason you want to have two is once it's approved, it's sent in, we're good to go. So now we'll move this over a little. So now we have all of the first part set up. The next section, which is the second part where we're setting up our actual vector database, is the first thing we need to do is create that loop. And we want to create a loop because we're going to process multiple documents. So if we have this loop, we process one document. Once it's gone through and it's ingested into our vector data store, we go grab another one and we continue that process until it's all completed. So I'm going to delete this just because it's always in the way. And the loop, I'm going to go here and I'm going to add the Google Drive to it. Download a file. Right here, download a file. And now what we've done is we have all this information. Now we're actually going to download this into N8N. So far, we've collected a lot of information, but we haven't downloaded anything into N8N. So we need to go here to the file type, and instead of list, we want to do it by ID. And then we're going to paste in this here. Again, do not paste anything. Just watch this video when you run into issues, but download the JSON file. It's already complete and good to go. All right, so now we're going to move this over, right? And so what we're going to do is we're going to take this and we're going to add another message. We want to tell ourselves when things are happening with it. So if there's an error or if the things get processed properly, we're kind of tracking where it's at along this process. And so we're going to add another telegram, and this is going to send us a message. And what this message is going to do is, it's going to let us know that it's already completed and has been updated in the quadrant. We're going to receive the same message every time. So we'll receive the same message every time that this has been completed, and we will be good to go with that. We'll cross this up so this gets out of the way down here. So the next thing is we have this downloaded. We have two things we need to make from here. We're going to do a get file. So this is going to be a extract from a file. And we're going to do extract from a text file. And there's not much we need to do to this. It's already completed and we can process this. I need to set this ID. Oh, you know what I needed to do? I need to make this. So I always forget to add the expression here. So what I'm going to do is click expression and it should be good to go. Hit test and that information gets pulled in. So now we have a downloadable file. We have the extraction of a file, and we're going to keep going with this route. So now we have this Google Drive downloaded the file. We've extracted the information from it, from the extract from a file, and we need to do an information extractor. So we click this plus, and we're going to go to extractor, and we see information extractor. And we're going to give it a prompt. And that prompt is the actual JSON data. So all we have to do is type this in, click expression. There's going to be quite a few steps we need to do to this one. So for the first thing, we have that completed. We need to add an attribute. So we add this attribute. All we have to do is copy and paste it in. And Then we have to add a description. And what this is going to do is it's going to allow it to be put into the database in the right format. All right, so we've set up our extractor. There was a lot of steps within that, so I fast forwarded and cut through that so you didn't have to waste your time watching that. So the next thing we need to do is add a Google Gemini model. So we open this back up. So I need to hit this models down here, and we're going to do a Google Gemini. And so we already have it connected, but if you want to connect it, you're going to go here and click create a new credential. And the easiest thing you can always do is open this document right here. And this is going to give you the links to where you need to go. That you can go to, but they're pretty simple to set up. You're going to go here and add an option. And what we want to do is sample temperature. We want to change it to 0.4. So what this is going to do is it's going to limit the creativity of the model. So once we have this completed, we can move on to actually merging this information, and then we'll merge from this information up here to what we have. So now we're going to do another merge. It's going to add to, we're going to move this down here. And the reason we're going to do that is we're going to take Google Drive, drag that into number 2. Now we get into the fun part of the Qdrant database getting set up. So now we are moving along pretty nicely. So now we need to click the plus here, and then we can type QD, and it should be coming up. The last one, Qdrant Vector Store. And we're going to get rank data, add documents to the store, the second one. Once we do that, we always want to add a chat model, but we need to just list the name. Now this name has to match with what we named other things on the in the past. So we named it this earlier. So now this is the model we get to choose from. So this name must match the other one we set up. You can set that up as a different name if you wanted to. So as always, we want to give it some information to think of. So we're going to add in an OpenAI model. We can keep this the same. We'll move this to the side, and then we need a data loader. Just click the first one. We have quite a lot of work to do on this one. We need to add this to be binary, and then we need to load specific data. And so now what we have to do is explain to this the file types that are going to be inputted into this. So now what we're going to do is add an option, and we want to do metadata. Now, once we have metadata, we can create a bunch of properties, and I'm going to fast forward through this, but I'll show you the first part. What we're doing is we're having the file name to the meme type that's going to be sent through. And if you don't know what a meme type is, it's essentially how the Google is labeling the file going through. Each file has a specific name that Google can read and understand what kind of file it is. All right, so now we've updated that data loader. We've added all these fields in, and we're going to set this up. It's going to be red because we still have to add a token splitter. Once we add this in, this is going to tell us how we want to split these into chunks. We'll do 3,000 just so that it doesn't take so much space. And essentially what this is doing is it's splitting up the tokens into 3,000 chunks. So each character becomes a token. So every 3,000 characters, it will be a new document after that. And there's no overlap between the two documents. We could add 5 here, and there'll be 5 characters or 5 tokens overlapping. You could do 100 for more context. The bigger you go, the more context you're going to have, the more overlap, the more it's going to understand the entire document in its entirety. But it does come with space, so you have to kind of ration that out. So now what we're going to do is we're going to add a weight. And we're going to give it an interval of 5 seconds so it has a little break to process that. We'll move this down here. And then we will link this in to the loop. And this part of the system is complete. So now we have completed our vector store. All right, so now this is how we have it set up. We review the documents, it goes through, it gets combined, we approve it, it gets sent up, it sends into it, downloads all of our documents here, it extracts the information, then it gets sent to the vector store where it's going to split up that document to multiple little sectors, and then it gets sent and reprocesses all of the data within our system. Now what we can do is we can come up here and we can create our AI agent. So the first thing we're going to do is add another trigger. This is going to give us the ability to chat with this model. So from that, we have this up here. Down here, I mentioned again, is the database. We're going to go over here and we're going to click an AI agent. And this agent is going to be able to communicate with the data and only that data. So we have that complete. We want to give it a prompt. So we need to give it a system message. And I'm going to copy and paste this in. All right, we have that done. That's all we need to do. We always have to give it some information. So we'll give it OpenAI. You could use any model here. It's just the easiest since it's always logged in. I'm going to zoom into this a little bit. So I'm going to zoom in so we have a better view of it. So this is good to go. We always want to give it memory so it understands what you're posting. So what this does is it gives the ability to backtrack into the messages you sent in. So here we need to add in the Qdrant store. So now we have the vector Qdrant store loaded, right? We have the loaded store. We need to put that name of the store. And this was the one that we mentioned had to be the same as before. So make sure this name matches your data store. If not, it's not going to pull that information in right. So then we're going to pull it from the list and we have that name again. And we want to limit to 20. And this is complete. So the next thing we want to embed an AI. And this is good to go. And then once we have the complete, we have two things we need to do. All we need to do is add the telegram for the message. And send a text message. So now we have our Telegram set up. We will receive a message from this. The interesting thing we can do here too is we can go here and we can add another Telegram. And we could do this on a trigger. And the trigger could be on a message. So now if we send a message from Telegram to here, we can get all of that information from our Telegram. So if you stuck with me this entire video, I appreciate you sticking through. If you didn't, it's fine. Go download the JSON. If you enjoyed this video, if you found it useful, please give it a thumbs up, like, and subscribe. Again, I'll be creating different RAG systems, but this one right here is a very interesting one, and I think it's very useful. So if you enjoyed this, give it a thumbs up, like, and subscribe. Join my school community, and look forward to our videos next time.